right, welcome to this week's Deal Structure Sunday. As usual, we're going to twist it up a little bit for you. I'm going to give you a better part of the clip of the interview of a family cast that my son Nick and I did with Mr. Jose Ayala. Enjoy the clip. The Wicked Smart listeners know I always like to at least start, and then we don't know where it goes after that, but we at least start with the same question. That is, give us some context to what your life was like before you met the Wicked Smart community, and then we'll dive into maybe why you did what you did. But what was in your world before that, so they know who you are?
Okay. Prior to that, I was working as a defense contractor for close to 17 years in the military arena. Because of my background, I had close to 28 years in the military, Air Force. And so the last 15 years, I've been in the Washington, D.C. community area, right out of the suburbs on the outskirts of West Virginia is my home base. And so my market right now for the territory that I cover is primarily the Washington area, Northern Virginia arena, Maryland. And so, but I retired several years ago and from the military, and then I changed over and I worked defense contractor till about last year. Last year, in June of 21, I retired officially, but in that interim, I was also getting ready to jump into some things. One of them, of course, is that I'm a home inspector with my brother. He's also retired military. So we're covering this whole region doing home inspections. And that's something we're learning and we love to do. It's really exciting work, working with realtors, working with buyers, and working with homes, all kinds of homes.
Well, let's do this. Let's give you a shout out. There's no reason not to. If they're in your area, they're all over the world, the listeners, but if they're in your area, what is the name of the company and how do they find you? I might as well put it out there for them.
Sure. It's called Win Home Inspections, and it's a national franchise. We've got over 250 territories, throughout the U.S. And so I own a big swath of an area that covers Maryland, West Virginia, and Virginia. So
you have a site just for you guys?
Yes. Exclusive territory. It's called charlestown.winnie.com. And
I'll put that in the show notes too, so they can find it.
Sure. Right. Really interesting work, and you and I have talked about it before, that it goes hand in hand with the other side interest that I have as far as doing real estate. I've been in the real estate market for a little while now. It's been close to 10 years. And I did some investment properties where I bought some rentals. And just recently, I was able to sell one of my rentals through you all. And Nick's help, I was able to get one of my properties sold that way using at least purchase. And so
let's go there if you guys don't mind, because I want to pull Nick in here. Nick, I must say on most shows, I say how you're the kind of the master of the buyer end, but I want to tie you to Jose's story, because Jose, in all associates, in their contracts, they have a provision that allows them to do one of their personal properties or investment properties with us. We don't have any splits, any revenue share. We just coach you through it. So it gives you an opportunity to get coached and learn more because it's hands-on, but also you get to keep your own revenue because it's your property. So can you let me ask you a few questions, then Nick will come in. So how long did you own this rental property before you met us? Like, you had this thing how long?
A little over 4 years. I owned it, and so it was just a prime. An interesting fact about it is that I was able to learn the sales end of it process before I got a take.
Right, because you already own this. And for the Wicked Smart listener, first of all, a take in Jose's language, or a taken in the language of the community, means that he would normally, if you didn't own it, put a property under contract, and we call that a taken. And Jose is gonna trademark the name take, I think. All right.
That's perfect.
So he owned it as a rental instead of renting it. This is so common. If you are out there listening to the show, I don't care if you knew or you've been listening for years, and you own rentals, please listen to what's going on here. So instead of renting it, Nick, he turned to you and said, help me sell it. But Nick, act like the listener, because we don't talk buyers much, act like they know nothing and talk about how we move forward with Jose, and that'll tell them the whole story really of how we sell property.
Yeah, I actually enjoy when someone is coming to us with a background in real estate and they actually hold property, whether it's rental property or any type of property on their own, because then that gives us the opportunity to sell it through our program. And yeah, even though we're not revenue sharing on that deal, it allows us to train. And Jose, I can see you nodding your head, just because now next time when the next property comes up, I'm not going to have to start at square one. I'm not going to have to go through the basics, because Jose and I already covered that on this one take that he had.
I love it. All right, so talk about Nick, high level, of course, because they can go to the QLS home study. I'll give them a link later to learn it in depth, but like just talk about your process high level, and then I want Jose to come back and tell us the 3 paydays instead of renting it. It's just night and day. So go ahead.
Yeah, the process is first we want to make sure that where it's ready, it's cleaned out, and it's ready to market and sell right off the bat. Then we want to make sure prior to launching it that we have our ad set up properly, and that's the description of the ad, and then there are a few key phrases in the ad that we want to include, and Jose knows this now. That's the description, and then after the description, for deserving buyers with a good down payment, and then another space, 24-hour property information line, so anyone can call and learn about the property without having to talk to anyone, and then our system allows us to follow up with them after it. The exciting thing, just trying to keep it high level, is when we're marketing the home to rent to own buyers, not only are we capturing the for sale or the buyers out there that are qualified, only 15 or 20% now, and it's probably dwindling, but we're also capturing those 80% that couldn't qualify. And then in addition to that, we're capturing the renters that were renting because they didn't know there was an opportunity to buy. They didn't know there was a pathway to home ownership that our rent-to-own program offers. Then once we start getting the calls, we put them through our education process where they go and learn about how our rent-to-own program works, that it requires a down payment. They're taking over our responsibility for the home, maintenance, repair, upkeep, etc. Then if we determine they're a fit during bringing them through our process, which is going to see the property and getting some forms back to us, if we determine they're a fit after reviewing them, we're setting up a buyer's meeting. Then at the buyer's meeting, Jose and I or any associate, we're just going over everything in more detail. And then we can have infinite number of buyer meetings on a property if we haven't met anyone that we're not comfortable with. But say, for example's sake, usually the best case scenario is if we have 3 buyers meetings, that gives us 3 to 5 buyers meetings. That gives us a good pool to choose from. Then we're accepting a buyer. They're signing with our attorney and funding and starting their rent-to-own deal and on the path to home ownership.
Now you guys can tell that Nick's probably done this once or twice or several hundred. Jose, instead of putting a tenant in there that you were doing for 4 years or so and collecting a rent and having the landlord risk, what did you create in your first deal here with 3 paydays? I know you said it to me. I have no clue off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think that when we went through the 3 payday analysis on it, it showed that I'll come out close to 91,000.
Okay, now here's what's interesting. I have 3 things to say, then you comment on whether you agree with me or not. One is the sale price of this house was how much in the rent-to-own program?
In the rent-to-own, it was 189.9.
Okay, so on a 189.9 house, I just want everybody to get this. His 3 paydays, and this happens all the time in the Wicked Smart community, was like half the value of the house. Now that's number 1. Number 2, how does it feel, I should ask, to have a buyer in there that is waiting to get financing and will treat it like it's their home instead of you being a landlord? Or like, how do you feel? Is it, or is it not different for you so far?
Oh, it is massively different because now he's putting money into it and taking care of it as he be owned it, because he's going to. And it made a world of difference for me to go through that process and learn all those pieces with Nick, and having someone to explain to me the logic behind it in the process. That was a real eye opener for me. I know Nick would say that I was a little hard-headed at learning some of his processes, but I could tell you that
You got there. You got there, though.
yeah,
You got there,
genius.
Jose.
By the second or third buyers meeting, I was able to do it on my own. And
that's exactly what I tell everyone.
right.
Once you get a few under your belt and you're like, oh, okay, I know how this works. You can
Right.
do it on your own. You're not going to need me forever. And
Nick and Jose.
that's our whole, Dad, let me just say this.
Yeah.
That's our whole thing with all of our associates.
Right.
That's why we set I want to say like the cap or the expectation that 10 deals, after 10 deals, you can go and be on your own. You're not going to need us forever. That's the idea. We want to create, we want to impact individuals and families and have people create a business and run on their own, not always need us.
An interesting point on that is that I have to follow the letter of the law when I speak with Nick, because anytime I deviate from that, he corrects me and puts me right back on track. And so I appreciate that from you, Nick.
Well, what the listeners won't know, Jose, unless they go to YouTube, so I encourage them to go to YouTube, is that hand motion and slap motion you just made with your left hand. That's important. All right.
Jose, one of the, and you can probably take the words out of my mouth, but one of the things that I always caution Jose is when we haven't even got the property on the market yet, he goes, okay, so here are the 3 paydays. And I'm like, Jose, there are no paydays if we don't get a buyer. So let's just do our job first. And then once we get a buyer, we can start talking paydays.
It's all a matter of learning communication with one another, and it'll work.
Jose, I'm going to go back to you on this one. We had yesterday, Nick was part of it. We had a very cool, productive, high-level meeting with a new strategic partner in our conference room here in Rhode Island. And he said numerous times, in one shape, form, or another, nobody is doing what you guys do and caring for your students the way you do in the entire education industry. And he's in the industry. You could look at him as a competitor, but we've joined arms. So I'd like your thoughts on, you've been in the community now for how long?
A little bit over a year, 16 months.
Okay, perfect. Good test kind of run. So give the Wicked Smart listeners who, let's say they have no idea, they've never been to our events, they're new to the podcast, give them a sense for what the Wicked Smart community is to you. Like it could be from Slack or in person or whatever. Just what comes to mind for you? No agenda.
What comes to mind is that I did invest a lot of money in previous courses that just didn't fit for me for various reasons. It just didn't work out. And this was for me after I sat through the presentation of what you were all about, your group. It really made me step back and say to myself, if I'm going to jump in, I got to jump in with both feet and do it right and commit, because after this, there will be no more courses. Okay. I committed to that and saying, I'm going to make this work. Why? Because what I saw different in this group was that they are in the trenches with you. We all have our ups and downs every day. And so I remember you saying, commit 3 years. Commit 3 years to this and give yourself time to learn the process. Then when I met people that were so key, like Brian O'Neill, like Nick, like various mentors, Steve, these are people that are in the trenches, that grew in the system. that went through the schools, and they can appreciate what I'm going through at the stage that I'm in. You've got so many people coming in with various backgrounds, okay? But you literally vested time in people as they're growing and learning their process. And I saw that and I said, if I can't learn in this group, I'm going to give it up. I'm going to give it up. Okay. And yeah, so that's basically what I saw. And I really appreciate that you're locking arms. You really are doing what you say, that you're always providing new material, providing always new ideas. And I think that's what really attracted me to the group, so that I can then grow in this community.
I love it, and I appreciate that. And again, I know agenda with that. I just wanted it from the heart, and I'm sure the listeners felt that. In fact, I'm going to throw out a way for them to meet you, because I think that as the community grows, what's really cool is new people come in and they become kind of like the next tier, and then you get to kind of show people the hope and be the inspiration. So I would invite everyone here, and this is a broad statement, to come to the Wicked Smart Summit in March and meet Jose. Jose had the opportunity to meet everybody just not too many months ago at his first live event. And I'm gonna make it easy. I'm gonna give you a 50% off code. So here it is, guys. Just because you listen to the show, go to smartrealestatecoach.com/summit50. Summit50. You'll get 50% off the ticket. Walk up, shake Jose's hand, meet Nick, meet the team, and experience it for yourself. And you decide. We're not here to push, prod, or sell. We're here to expose you to a community that will help you get to the other side, so to speak, which I've heard so many associates say. Jose, these are short, these family cast episodes. I'll ask you and Nick, is there anything you want to share before we wrap up? Because we could be here for 3 hours with ease talking. Is there anything you'd like the listeners to hear? And again, I'm not talking about testimony. I'm talking about what would you tell them if they're new to real estate and they want to do something? Like what are some parting thoughts and/or nuggets we didn't hit? And then Nick.
Well, first thing I would say is, in my experience, because I attended so many different courses and I found reasons as to why not to do it, or they weren't complete, I decided then, after finding your group, that I really studied it. I really heard and I listened for a while of what were the pros and cons of going through the process. And I would say, do your homework. Do your homework, do your due diligence on before you commit, and know that once you jump in, you've got to jump in and believe in yourself that you can do it. A lot of it is, we bring baggage along the way from all this old stuff that we've done in the past, and you'll have people like Dr. Amanda, people that I'm currently still reading books of them, of how they've helped me with my mindset and my mental money blocks, in essence, that have been so helpful in getting a different perspective in my life. And I think that I would say, do your homework and study yourself and apply yourself, commit and go for it. If answering the question is why are you doing it? Why are you pursuing it? And being serious about that with yourself.
I love it. Here's why I love it, because we missed this, and that's why I always like to ask this last question for you expose it, and that is, everybody. I was just on a podcast with Nick. I left you a message with two gentlemen from England. It was a really cool conversation, and they said, "I'm going to ask you the magic question. How long?" Our listeners probably love what you heard, what you said, but how long does it take to do a deal? And what Jose just said is key. We all come with baggage, all of us, and there's no exception, and we all come with skill sets or lack thereof. So when someone says, "How long will it take?" the answer is 30 days to 365 days, because I don't know you yet. And that's a fair estimate. The averages might be 4 to 6 months, but the fair estimate is 30 to 365 days. We teach the same QLS course. I'll give you a link for that if you're not aware of that, if you're new to the show. But they all come out the gate different speeds because of everything Jose just said. So great nugget there, Jose, for setting their expectations. It's not a get rich overnight. It's a skill set you'll never, ever lose once you get, though. You have that for life. Nick, anything that we didn't say that you're thinking, what we should mention this or that?
Yeah, thanks, Jose. That was great with those points that you mentioned. I'd just like to highlight what you said, the kind of having the long-term perspective when you're starting this. So not only are you going to have that skill set and those systems and everything, you're going to have that for life. But Jose came into this with the long-term perspective. So the associates that we see succeeding and doing deals and having success within our program are the associates that say, all right, well, look, this is probably going to take me 1 to 3 years to really get up and going. And as long as they have that long-term perspective and they put their head down and they do what we're telling them to, which the reason why Jose is here, he's done that. There's no reason that 3 years from now or 2 years from now, when you're at your 3-year point, you're not going to be looking back saying, oh God, I'm really upset that I made that commitment. You're going to be saying, I'm glad I did, because of all the wealth and all the opportunities that you've attracted into your life.
Yeah, one thing for certain, we're all here to lift you up. Jose, Nick, good chatting as always. Hopefully, while we chatted, the Wicked Smart listener got a nugget or two. Jose, no pressure, but in front of hundreds of thousands of listeners, we want to make sure that you come on for your next deal. So no pressure, but they're all going to be asking for you at the next event. Right? And I hope if you come to the summit, that you walk up to Jose and ask him how many deals he's done. There's some accountability for you.
Yeah, well, my goal here's I'll take it a step further. I'm seeing it on screen right now. I'm shooting for 2 before March.
Great, that's minimum.
Very reasonable.
Yep.
Okay.
You heard it. Wicked Smart listeners, come to the event. Go to smartrealestatecoach.com / did I give the wrong link for the summit? No, I did. smartrealestatecoach.com / summit 50. You get 50% off, and you can be the first one to ask Jose what deal he's on. Jose, Nick, thanks guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jose.
Take care, Nick.